Alright, hello everyone, it's Silver Kyle, and E3 2017 has begun, strangely, on a Saturday. EA Games decided to start it off with Saturday for their conference, which is weird because I always feel that E3 starts on like late Sunday night and during the week, really. But Saturday, for whatever reason, I did not decide to watch this one live. Pretty much everyone after this, I will be watching live because I'm really looking forward to every conference after this. But EA Games was kind of just, I'm not really expecting a lot because it's a lot of sports games. So I decided to go to my cottage on this beautiful Saturday instead, and I'm watching this Saturday night as opposed to, it would have been, I think, 3 o'clock my time when it was playing. So, EA 2017, their conference, they started off with Madden 18, and I was like, yeah, not looking forward to this game. But there's going to be a lot of games here that, if it's sports games, I'm not looking forward to them. I get that there's a big market out there, especially for FIFA, of people that really do like these games, but they're really not my cup of tea. Madden 18, they said that they innovated the most in this game. Like it's the most changes they've ever done to any Madden game. And I mean, yeah, I could see that because they really don't do any innovation at all into these games. By the few games that I've played, I can play them like every 5 years. I'll play like a new sports game once in a while because they're so cheap. And I just try it out and I'm like, yeah, it's pretty much what I expected from them. So I can completely see them. Yeah, they probably changed a lot of things because they changed 2 things in the game probably. I'm kidding. They probably change a lot more than that, but it always feels like there's not a big change between every year, other than the rosters and things like that. Once in a while, they do change the game mechanics and the feel to them, but I feel that there's only so much that you can do with a sports game. It's not their fault. It's the nature of the game. You can't change a sports game that much because it's always going to be the same game all the time because that's what it is in real life, which there's nothing wrong with that. They had a storyline in this, which, I mean, if you're into that's really cool. You get to kind of go through your own career in the NFL. That's kind of cool. But yeah, not my thing. Then they had a guy come out who's kind of like the main conference guy for EA. And he said that they had heard a bunch of feedback. They were very happy with that. And they heard a bunch of positive feedback and a lot of constructive criticism. And he's like, that's just a better way of saying bad criticism. I thought that was hilarious. And they said that they will be fixing that with Battlefront that they showed at the end of the conference. Next up, they showed some stuff for Battlefield 1. I still need to pick up Battlefield 1. And they were just showing like an expansion and DLC that's coming. Didn't really care for the DLC and expansion because it's just more of the same by the looks of it, which is fine, but DLC I rarely ever jump into unless it really changes or it's a game that I absolutely love, and this is just more of a continuation of it in terms of like the storyline or just more of the gameplay. But for a first-person shooter, I'm rare. I've never dived into it, but I rarely get DLC anyway. Next up, they showed FIFA 18, which had, once again, another storyline into it. The thing I didn't like about this, though, was they had 2 guys that are apparently very popular, like the 3rd most popular guys in terms of commentating, or maybe a podcast. I can't even remember what they were from, but they were super energetic, and I don't feel that really anybody in the conference knew who they were. I was really bored throughout most of this conference, and with these 2 guys just yammering about, like, what's this guy going to be doing? What's this guy going to be doing? And I mean, if you watch, like, soccer/football in Europe, yeah, this is really important, but I don't at all. And I feel that there's a lot of people that also felt left out in terms of who those 2 guys were that were talking. But if you watch them, awesome. I just had no idea who they were, and it kind of felt like that with everybody else that was there, or a lot of people. But storyline in FIFA's just going to sell like mad anyway, so FIFA's going to do fine. Okay, as much as the 2 guys were kind of different, Need for Speed Payback guy, the YouTube creator, he was that was cringeworthy. It was so bad. He's like, hey, my name is this. And he's all doing these signs. And he's like, and I'm a YouTube creator. And I'm here to announce Need for Speed Payback. He forgot. I think what happened is that he was supposed to have a prompter for like what he was going to say. And it wasn't working. But, oh my goodness. If I had one thing to do at E3, I would like say, okay, what game am I announcing? Give me as much info about this game. And make sure that I remember the title of the game. It was so awkward. And he's like, okay. And I got my boy, the producer, nah. he's out here and he's the producer of the game. He just kept repeating. And then he said once again, yeah, so, okay, it's not working. But yeah, I'm this person and I'm the YouTube creator. I'm here for Need for Speed Payback. Like, it was bad. I know that I would probably mess up too, but oh, it was cringeworthy. And then later on, the producer was talking about it, and he's like, and then they went back to the guy, and he's like, yeah, no, enough about this talking. I just want to see the game now. Oh, it was awkward. I don't know if that was an actual planned line, but either way, it was just, it was bad. Check it out if you get the chance to. If you like cringeworthy moments, it's up there. Need for Speed Payback, so far out of what they had shown, other than the DLC for Battlefield, because Battlefield looks freaking awesome, but the DLC I don't care for. But Need for Speed Payback in terms of new games, it looked okay. I would never pay like full price for this, but when it goes down to like $10, $20, maybe I pick it up. But there's so many other games that I probably won't ever play this game ever. Then they showed A Way Out, which is a new game in the sense that it's the guy that made the Brothers game. And this game is about two-player co-op. It can only be played two-player co-op. I think that's kind of cool. I'm perfectly fine with this. So there's no single-player campaign at all. And it's either couch co-op or multiplayer online. Now, at the beginning, I thought they were just couch co-op. And I was like, really? Because they were really pushing that as couch co-op. And I'm like, I play Nintendo games. I play couch co-op. I can play couch co-op all the freaking time. I want the option of online and couch co-op. And they give you that in this game, which is good. But it looks like it's split screen the entire time. So even if it's online, you're always going to see what your partner is doing. It's a prison escape game. And that's the prison escape concept I like, but I don't like the storyline looks absolutely generic. It looks like the two people show up, they start talking to each other, and they don't like each other. One of them doesn't like the other guy from the beginning, and it looks like probably later on they're going to become best friends, and possibly one of them's going to die, saving the other or something like that. That's what I assume. I have no idea if that's what's actually going to happen, but I feel like it's going to be a generic storyline for what they showed. The gameplay, my girlfriend was watching it too, and she was like, it feels like you just go around walking around in this world, like in the prison, and you get to another cutscene. You walk around, you get to another cutscene. And honestly, that's what it kind of felt like when I was watching that. They showed like a laundromat, and they were walking around, and then they hopped into a thing, and there was like a cutscene, and it was just constant cutscenes. And I don't really care for cutscenes. I just want to have cool gameplay, and that you might get that with this game, but because it was really hard to see what they were showing. I need to see more gameplay of this game to see if it's something that I would actually like. I'm very hot and cold with it. I feel that it's going to be a generic storyline. Don't know how that's going to actually go down. It might actually be really well done, and possibly gripping, and you really get into the characters and things like that. That could happen. From what I saw, but it's kind of cool that it's a two-player game the entire time. The split screen might bother me, but it's also cool to also always be able to see, even with playing an online friend, what they're doing. That could be kind of cool, but I like my full screen at the same time too. So I don't know. Next up, they showed like 10 seconds of Anthem, which is the new BioWare game. And I really don't have enough to base anything off of it. Right now, it looks like a generic game that they usually put out. No, not BioWare. I just mean like a new console video game that's in that vein of futuristic with shooting and stuff. It doesn't look super exciting yet. I hope that when they actually show the gameplay and an actual trailer for it later on in E3, then I'll have a much better idea of what it's about. I feel like we will, and then I'll be able to actually judge it appropriately. But right now, no excitement for the game at all. Then they showed NBA 18. Once again, sports game, don't really care. Then they finally showed Battlefront 2. It's going to have a single-player game, campaign mode, and also free content. I think they were saying spread throughout, possibly. I don't know about that, but I did hear the words free content, which is kind of cool. And I feel that a lot of people are going to be like, well, they should have done that in the first place. But at least they're listening. So they could have just made Battlefront 2 completely not listen, because Battlefront 1 sold relatively well. And I feel that they could have just gone the same route. I think that it's good that, when we say we don't like this, companies are starting to listen. Same thing with Xbox One. Was first announced at E3. They changed, and it was going to be completely different from what we actually got. And when it did come out, they completely changed their motto. And I was like, good on them. Battlefront, it was too late for them for the first game. I mean, I guess they could have like sold or just had extra content that would have been free. They could have done that, but that was never their plan or intention. And now they're fixing it with Battlefront 2. There's a single player campaign, which a lot of people wanted. And now there's also going to be free content spread throughout. So that's kind of cool that they're listening. And the game itself looked awesome. It's going to have episodes 1, 2, and 3, and 4 to 6, and also 7, and some of 8. I think that they're going to add like the Last Jedi stuff later on with free content or DLC. And they made like the prequels look actually really interesting, which I did not think was possible. The droids looked freaking awesome. I was like, this is awesome. This is crazy. If only the movies would have been this good. 1, 2, and 3 were absolutely horrible. And they made, if they would have made it like this, I would have like that's the kind of thing that I wanted to see in those movies. So the game looks really awesome. I feel that it does look better than Battlefront 1. But Battlefront 1 already looked amazing. Like it was basically you're just thrown into the Star Wars universe and having these gigantic battles. It's insane. It almost feels like it's too much, but it isn't when you actually play the games. It's really crazy how that worked. But yeah, looking forward to that. I don't think I'm going to pick up Battlefront day one, but down the line, I think I will definitely pick it up, especially now that there's a single player campaign. So yeah, EA 2017, their conference. Pretty much what I was expecting. A lot of sports games that I'm not excited in. Need for Speed, not really excited in. A Way Out, kind of interesting. Don't know about that. Anthem, I definitely want to see more of. And they did a pretty good job with Battlefront, adding in the single player and the free content. So there you have it. E3 has started. Not really with a bang, but I feel everything else is really going to be so much more exciting. I hope, anyway. So thank you all for watching. You've been Bearded In.
Beardage.